Happy Tuesday, everybody. Start with some questions.
Any concerned about linebacker depth this week?
No. We've practiced well. Guys have been able to take a lot of reps in it, so feel good.
Is Ray go for the good?
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be fine. We've got a couple of guys that have been limited last week. Several that are day-to-day. We'll see how they progress throughout the week. And I think we're if everybody's there, we'll play with those guys. If not, next guy's up. Kind of like we've been all year.
Do Jordan and Eric fall into that day-to-day category?
Yeah, day-to-day.
Tetero McMillan was someone you offered at OU. Was that one of the cases where your scouting report has kind of played out so far his freshman year?
He's a good player. He is. I mean, he's got really nice skills. For his size, he's a guy that impressed us early on there in our time, and seems like a good kid. And they're doing a good job featuring him and getting him the ball, especially here as of late. So he's a playmaker and a tough matchup on the outside.
Do you think this is the best group of receivers you've seen so far this season?
It's definitely up there. I mean, no question. We played a couple other good sets, but these guys are definitely right there, if not the best. Transfer kid's playing really well for him. He's a really good player. Obviously T-Mac's playing well for him, and then the quarterback really kind of makes it all go. I mean, he's dynamic. I enjoyed watching him at Washington State. Watched him kind of fly around, make plays. He's pretty good within the scheme, but also obviously when he gets out, a little bit different than the kid from Ward from Washington State, but similar challenge. They just kind of go about it in a different way. He makes a lot of on-schedule plays, but obviously very, very, very dangerous off-schedule.
The receiver is a position you seem to feel pretty good about even coming into the season, but in terms of that depth at the position, how do you feel like that's generally developed over the course of this first half?
It's developed well. It's been good to get Bynum back after he was down for a couple of weeks, and it's been good to see some guys rise up. I mean, Mike Jack, getting him back healthy and him rising up has certainly been a key for us. It obviously was a big factor the other night. And then we've been happy to get Kyle Ford back healthy. He wasn't healthy during camp, and have him back. And then see guys like Kyron and John Jackson, C.J. Williams, and those guys rise up and make more plays. That's been a big part of it. So it's a good group. It's a good group of guys. They work hard. They push one another, and we do have some good competitive depth.
In what ways has Michael Jackson really stood out since kind of battling through those injuries early on?
I just appreciate mentally that he hung in there. It wasn't easy to. I mean, he had just such a string of nagging injuries. I know his frustration level was at about a boiling point, but again, another great example. If you hang in there, then good things can happen. And I think he realizes he's in a place with system and quarterbacks and all those things that when you get healthy and do well, you're going to have as good opportunities anywhere in the country. So it's been good to see him kind of battle back, and then when he gets on the field, because we haven't seen a lot of him on the field. He's an impressive player. I mean, he runs well with the ball. He's an aggressive, tough, physical, competitive player.
How much of Austin Jones can we expect to see this week?
I think he certainly has a chance to be a big part of our offense like he has all season. I mean, he's played well for us. Obviously, he's had some big moments and big games. He's had a few games where we haven't used him as much, but ran well for us the other night, practiced him well, right in the mix as always.
Has there been a reason for kind of the decrease in his workload the last few weeks compared to the first couple?
Yeah, I've talked about it a bunch, but we can rehash it. I mean, it's Travis Dye has played pretty well. We've run the hot hand a little bit, but more of a nature of guy getting hot and playing well.
What have you thought of CV just with the opportunities he's
been really good. He's been really good. He's one of our toughest, most physical players on the football team. You feel his physicality and his speed and his decisiveness on the field. And another guy whose emergence, both on special teams and defense, has been very important. And then he's been a guy that's played through some pretty tough stuff that not a lot of people would play through earlier in the season, which is pretty impressive. So, he's about as tough as they come. I mean, I can't remember what game that was, maybe Fresno, I think. Fresno broke his finger during the middle of a play. Actually, like like compound, like bones sticking out. Didn't tell anybody. Played 3 more plays with the bone sticking out of his finger. Oh, he did. It was unbelievable. And played well. Like, had 2 tackles. And finally comes over and tells somebody. I mean, we couldn't tell, obviously, from the sideline. I mean, stayed out there and played. So it tells you about his toughness and, you know, how much he wants to do well for this team.
What's been your assessment of Rajon Davis' progress?
Doing well. Been really pleased. He's done some really nice things for us on special teams. He's been a special teams impact player for us a couple of weeks now. Really progressing defensively. I think one of those guys that's kind of right on the cusp of playing significant reps and earning time there. So we've been pleased with his progress. He's worked hard. He's really changed his body, which was a big challenge for us after spring. And I think on a very upward trajectory right now.
Schematically, what stands out about Arizona's defense?
They do a nice job, in my opinion, of they mix it up enough that they're tough to get a beat on, but it's not so much that it gets janky and they can't execute it. Like, you can tell they got a really nice feel for change-ups and things they can throw at you to try to keep you off your game, but they kind of do it within the context of their system, which I think really good coordinators and staffs do. So they're doing a nice job. They're a good group. Some really good players, some players we're pretty familiar with. They've got some real experience in a couple of areas that shows up for them. From the back end perspective, it'll be one of the biggest back ends that we've played.
Let's do one more.
With Nick over at Russia now, how would you characterize the competition for that spot with him and Solomon?
Yeah, I think just we're continuing to look for the most productive and consistent players there. And Nick's one of those guys that as games were going on and he was playing in a more of a role. In more of a role situation, he was able to make plays and be very productive, and we wanted to look to find ways to get him on the field a little bit more. And Solomon's done some nice things, Corey's done some nice things. I mean, they all have. So, we're going to continue to give them all opportunities as they earn them, but certainly looking for somebody to really just come in and take that over. And we definitely want to get more production out of that position. When you look historically in this defensive system, that rush position has always been a very, very productive player. And so the combination of those guys, again, whether it's all 3, whether it's one that steps up and separates himself, we feel like we got 3 good players that need to go really take off and play well for us.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
All right, thanks.